Hi and you're welcome to today's tutorial. Now this video is on the making of this very beginner friendly summer dress. It's a tiny strapped circle flare dress. I believe that this is something you would love to watch. Without further ado, let's get right onto the cotton table. So here I have about 6 yards of fabric, but I won't be using all of this. I'm just trying to determine how much fabric I will be needing for this dress. So given that it's a short dress, max that you would need is about 3 yards. So this is the length of it. I'm just going to pick up one end of the selvage edge like this, and I'm folding it this way. So this automatically will be for like the front side of it or one side of it, and then the total of whatever I have, I will just refold it this way, and that doubles it up. So I have enough fabric for both the front and the back piece of this dress. So from here on, what I'm trying to do is just make sure I have it folded out properly, and then I will cut this out with my scissors from that point. So I'll be cutting this out. This is all the fabric that I need. And then after this, I'm just going to try to fold it as we would naturally fold when cutting a flared or a circle outfit. So just form your triangle and make sure that everything is well laid out, and then we can proceed to marking. So I have this properly folded out. Now at this apex point, I'm going to be taking a quarter of my bust measurement plus at least 1 inch for sewing allowance. So a quarter of my bust measurement is 9.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that's 10.5, and that's what I'm marking just right here. And then I will proceed to squaring this out. So now this automatically serves as our chest line. Now on this chest line, you divide your shoulder measurement by 4. So my shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 4 is 4 inches. So that's what I'm going to be marking here. This is where the sleeve or the strap is going to fall on. Or this is where it's going to cross on. So I think I marked about 4.5 inches. So from this point, I'm going up by 4 inches, which is kind of like a standard. And then on the chest line, I'm just going to impute the 1 inch stitching allowance that I left. Now from this center front, I'll be going up by 2 inches, and this will be the neck depth for both the front and the back. And I'll connect it to the 4 inch mark that I came up by. So you could do more or you could do less. It actually depends on what you want to achieve. So I'll just proceed now to connecting my lines from this point to the center front, and then from this point to the armhole. Now after getting this, the next thing to determine is the length of the dress. Now I'll place my tape roll on this chest line, and for me that's 8 inches, and I will extend my tape to the length of the dress, and the length that I'm working with is 41 inches, and this will include all bending allowances. So here I am just rotating my tape and marking on 41 inches all the way to the bottom of the dress. So whatever measurements you want to achieve, just work with it. And then I'll connect the lines properly. Now at this point, you can make it all the way straight, or you can give it a little curve, but I'll leave mine as is, and then I'll just proceed to cutting this out. And I'll also be cutting the top here and all the way to the armhole. And I'll just give this a notch at the center front, and I will open up the sides here. So after cutting this out, the next thing we want to do is to cut out facing for the neckline You can use a bias or you can use a facing, but I think cutting out the facing will give you a neater job. So I'm just having my fabric unfold. I'll be cutting the facing for both the front and the back at the same time. So it's unfold of four, and I will just place it on the fabric this way, making sure that the center pieces, the folded center pieces align with each other. I will trace out the neckline here and a little bit of the armhole, and then I will take out my fabric and measure out the length of the facing. The facing I want will be about 2 inches, which is just fine, and then I will cut this out. So at this point now you can actually weave this facing before you attach it to your main fabric. It all depends on you. I'm marking out the wrong side because this fabric can be very confusing. So I'll get my fabric now, opening it up. I'm going to place the facing on the main fabric, right side to right side, and then using 1/2 inch I will stitch the neckline. I will top stitch and then flip it over to the wrong side. I'll do that for both pieces and we'll see what it looks like. Now I'm done turning the neckline, and this is what we have. It's all neat and I gave it a very good press. Now the next thing to do is to work on the armhole area. So here I have a this strap of fabric that measures out about 2 inches. The width of it is 2 inches, and what I did was just folding 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch, and then I folded 1/2 inch again. Now what I want to do is, or what we're going to do is just bring our armhole on of the main fabric and kind of like sandwich it in between the strap, and then like encase it this way. You can actually use your pin to hold it down so that it's easy and neater. So I've been able to do that for this piece, and then that's where I'm going to stop. Now recollect that we took out 4 inches, or we came up by 4 inches when we were marking, and then we hemmed our neckline with 1/2 inch, so that's 4.5 inches. So now let's say 4.5 inches for the front and 4.5 inches taken out for the back makes it 9 inches. So I will give a mark of 9 inches there, and then from that point where I gave a mark, I will bring in the back of my fabric and then also encase it into the strap like I did for the front piece. So I'm just going to trying to trim out some loose edges, and I'm just going to turn this over to the other side so that it's easy for you to view and understand. So I'll just encase it this way. So I'll just take that again from this 4 inch, from that 9 inches mark that I made. I'll take the armhole of the back piece and also sandwich it in between the strap, and I'll make use of my pin to hold this down in place. So you just do that until you cover up the entire armhole on your back piece. Now I'll then take this to the sewing machine and then run just one straight stitch, holding all pieces together from one end to the other end. So I'll do that on this side, and then I'll also do the same thing on the other side of my fabric. So this is what we have after running a stitch. This is the wrong side, this is the strap, and then this is the other side. The next thing we'll be doing now is to attach the pocket. So from this armhole, I'm going to be coming down by 9 inches, 9 inches here, and I will mark my pocket opening of 7 inches. I already have my pocket cut out, so this is it. I'm just going to take one piece and come up half of an inch from that 7-inch start point, and I will pin this down. I'll pin this down. I'll run a straight stitch from one end of the 7-inch to the other end of the 7 inches, and I'm also going to be attaching my pocket on the other side here as well. So basically you'll be attaching your pockets to all four sides of your fabric, two on the right on the front piece and two on the back piece. And if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you have other comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thank you. So now I'll just take this to the sewing machine and run a straight stitch here, here, and on the back pieces as well. And then I will turn it right sides facing each other and hold it down with my 1 inch stitching allowance. And I will also hem the bottom. Now this is the final look of our summer dress. As you can see, it's looking very pretty. And this is something you can do in less than 30 minutes actually. Like I said, it's super beginner friendly and it's very easy to make. So thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos. Till my next one. Bye.